All right. Hello. Good morning or good evening, depending on when you are watching this. Hello, ESL 40, NC ESL 49, and welcome to day 2 of nouns, subject verb agreement, articles, and quantifiers. Hopefully, you guys had a great job or had a great time doing your homework. I will be looking at those shortly, and definitely check out your friend's homework if you haven't already. So let's get started. Okay. So we are on to day 2. Oops, I haven't shared my screen. Hold on for 1 second. There we go. All right, so we are on day 2. So what we're going to do today is we're going to review the 4 noun categories that we talked about last class. We are just going to do kind of a corrections in practice. We're going to talk about subject verb agreement, and then we're going to do an article exercise. So very similar to what we did last time. We're just kind of building off of our knowledge. So in your notes, take out a piece of paper, a pen, or a pencil. Please write a brief description of each of these categories in your notes without using your phones, your friends, your other notes, just as a warm-up activity for today. So pause this video, look at the 4 noun categories, and write a brief description of each in your notes. I'm guessing this might take you guys about 10 minutes. Okay, so pause the video and try to see what you remember. Okay, so welcome back to the video. Hopefully you guys have written everything down in your notes. Let's see what you guys remember. So for common and proper nouns, remember that common nouns are nouns that are not specific and therefore they are not capitalized. We call them general nouns, right? So we went through a bunch of examples last class, but an example of a common noun would be mountain or professor. An example of how we can change those into proper nouns would be Mount Everest. We would capitalize the M and the E, and then also Professor Emily. Capitalize the P, capitalize the E. So as you know, proper nouns are the opposite of common nouns. They indicate a specific place, thing, person, and therefore are capitalized. So they have a special name, okay? So we capitalize those. This seems a little bit silly, but this is really important and that can make your writing look very, very clean, very neat. It's just something that we should know. Now, our second noun category is singular and plural nouns. To make singular nouns plural, we either add s, es, or ies. Okay, so remember singular, and we're getting a little bit into regular and irregular right now, but singular nouns are nouns that are only one, like chair, desk, apple, bag, school. Plural nouns means that there are more than one, chairs, desks, apples, schools. Okay, so singular noun means one, plural noun means more than one. Our third noun category is regular and irregular nouns, and this is where we start talking a lot about plural nouns. So these two categories are very, very closely related. So sometimes nouns are irregular, and therefore the pluralization is different. Sometimes we have to change the entire word, like child turns into children. Otherwise, we just have to change the endings of this. So remember, if a noun just takes an S, that's going to be a regular noun. If it's changed in a lot of different ways, that makes it irregular. Okay, that means the spelling changes or the word itself completely changes, like child to children, right? So regular nouns, we just are adding our S, our normal rule, and then irregular nouns are when we are changing the ending or the word. Our fourth category is counted non-count nouns. As we talked about, count nouns can be singular or plural, and they are simple to count. 1 ball, 2 balls, 3 balls, 4 balls, 1 donut, 2 donuts, 3 donuts, 4 donuts, and we can make them pluralized. That's the key here. Non-count nouns are items that we do not count. They always take the singular form. We never ever pluralize these, okay? Instead, we use words like some, a lot, a little, or the. All of these are quantifiers. We're going to get into this in just a moment. But remember, non-count nouns are things like abstract ideas like love, school subjects like math. And for school subjects, remember, we always capitalize them because they're proper nouns. So you should always capitalize mathematics when we're talking about school subject. If you're just talking about general math, like I am doing math homework, you don't need to capitalize that. Terms composed of tiny elements like rice or sand, collective nouns. Remember this key term like family, class, food items. Um, yeah, again, like rice, minerals, liquids, gases. So to talk about the qualities, we use an, or the, and then we actually use different types of words. So we could say a cup of coffee, a piece of advice. Because cup is singular, we can use a. Since piece is singular, we can use a. Okay? This is a lot to digest, to understand. You're doing a great job. Now, for your homework, you had to complete that sheet on Canvas that we went over last video, and you had to find an article, and you had to identify the nouns that the writer was using. So what I would like you to do is pause the video, check your homework to see if anyone has commented on it, and then also check your classmates' homework to see how different nouns were evaluated. That just means click into their document and read through. This should just take you guys about 10 minutes or so. You don't have to read everybody's, but definitely read a few people's. If you're watching this video and nobody has posted their homework yet, just come back to this at a later time this week. Again, all these videos are up at the same time. It just depends on when your classmates get their work done. And most importantly, double check your nouns. So look at your homework, double check that they're in the right category, and just, yeah, if you're feeling confident about it, I'm super happy. All right, so you've double checked your homework, you've read through other people's homeworks, you've seen if other people's homework. We never pluralize homeworks, right? We don't ever say homeworks, we just say homework. And you have seen if anybody has commented on yours. So now we're going to move into articles and quantifiers. Now, in front of nouns, we use articles in quantity words. We call these quantifiers. Now, Q-U-A-N-T, quant, means number, if you guys are familiar with math or research. So depending on whether the noun is countable or not, we decide on which quantity word we can use. Now, there's lots of different quantifiers. Here are some of them. You can see that we start with specific numbers. So we could say 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So I can say I ate 6 oranges this morning, and 6 is a quantifier. We then have our articles, a, an, and the. These are our standard articles. I had an orange. I ate a donut. I drank the rest of the juice. All of these are articles. They are also, the quantifiers and articles are similar. For words that are non-count, we can use like some. I had some coffee today. No, I didn't have any coffee today. Some is used often with affirmative statements. That means positive statements. Any is often used with negative statements. No, I didn't have any coffee today. Or no, I didn't do any homework today. You don't always have to say no. You can also just say, I didn't do any homework. So again, some is for affirmative statements or neutral statements. Any is most of the time for negative statements. Much, many, a little, a few, little, few. Okay, actually, this is an important distinction. Do we know the difference between a little and little? Or do we know the difference between a few and few? When we put a in front of little or few, it means that it's a neutral or positive, where little or few is usually negative. So, for example, I have a little money to go to the movies. And I used little because money is non-count. So if I said I have a few money, that would be incorrect. A little measures the amount. A few means that we can count because a few means two. So I could say I have a little money to go to the movies. That is positive. That means I can go to the movies. But if I said I have little money to go to the movies, that means I don't have enough. Okay? You could also say, I have a few dollars to go to the movies. That means, yeah, I have enough to go. I have few dollars to go to the movies means, no, I don't have enough. And you can see that I said little with money because it's non-count. And I said few with dollars because it is count. We also have several, which means a few, one, two or three, a large number of, fewer, and we use fewer with than. I have fewer dollars than Susie. Both, another, a great deal of is also for non-count. A large amount of, we can use with non-count. Less than, another, a lot of, half of, most, none, some, part, no, more, and all. We don't commonly say no, but this is grammatically correct. We don't say, I have no money. Well, actually, we can say that. But usually we say, I don't have any money. I have no money is fine, but most of the time we say, I don't have any. Now, I don't know if this helps you guys or not. I actually disagree with a little bit of this chart. So let's go through. So all and every means 100%. Yes, true. Almost all and almost every means 95. Yeah, I agree. Most 90%. Yeah, I could even say that most could be like 85% or even 80%. Many, much, a lot of, and lots of is 80. Some is 50. This is what I don't agree with. I think 50 could be half, but some to me seems like, I don't know, 20% of my students, 30% of my students. Some of my students came to school, I would say would be like between 20 and 40%. It would not mean half, but I don't know if you guys agree or disagree with this. Several, 30, a few, littles, 20, a couple, 10%, almost no or almost none, 5%, no, 0. Okay, so this is just a general quantifier and amount graph. It might mean a little bit different to different people, but this is just kind of to generalize what this equates to. Hopefully, excuse me, hopefully this slide will be useful. Here are a lot of examples of how we can write sentences with articles and quantifiers with count nouns and articles and quantifiers with non-count nouns. So there are some apples. There is some furniture. So there are and there is, the difference here is our verb, some apples and some furniture. So we know that the quantifier some can go with count nouns or it can go with non-count nouns. So some is a very versatile quantifier. That means it can go with both. There aren't any students in class today. Note that this is a negative sentence. There are not any students in class today. There is not any water in the water bottle. So the only difference here again is the verb. The verb in the count noun is plural. The verb in the non-count noun is singular. Remember, we always use the singular verb with non-count nouns. There are a few grapes left for you. There is a little wine left for you. Same thing, we can say a few grapes because grapes is plural, few we can count. A little means we can measure this, and we cannot count wine. We can count glasses of wine, bottles of wine, cups of wine, but we cannot count the liquid. And you'll note that we still use is because we are always going to use our singular verb for non-count nouns. I have many tests to grade. Many we can count. I have a little grading to do. Now remember, a little means affirmative or neutral. So if I say, I have a little grading to do, that means Not much, okay? It's okay. I can do this. I have little grading to do means I don't have any, basically. She called me several times last night. Several is count. I have little time to talk to my friend. That means I don't have any really. I don't have any time to talk to my friend. I can play a couple of games, but not many. A couple of. A couple means one or two. I have too much pressure right now. We can also say so much pressure right now, but that's when we can use with much because um yeah, I have so much or I have too much. I don't, yeah. Then you could say I don't have enough. So you could also use enough as a quantifier. I have some exercises to do. I have some homework to do. Remember, we never pluralize homework. She has a lot of friends. She has a lot of anger. So a lot can be used with count or non-count as well. There are plenty of opportunities for you. There is plenty of coffee for everyone. Again, we can use plenty of for both. We just need to change that verb. Are plenty of opportunities. We use are because opportunities is plural. Is plenty of coffee. We use is because coffee is non-count. You have given me enough presents. You have given me enough advice. Again, enough can be both. Um, yeah, for count and non-count. I went through this pretty quickly. If you need to rewind this, or if you need to just pause and look through this yourself, we are also going to be moving on and doing a little bit of practice. Okay, so this is a super useful slide. Please use this for modeling for your own sentences. Yeah, hopefully you enjoyed it. Hi guys. Sorry, I just had to take a quick little break there. So what we are going to be focusing on, since we just covered this articles and quantifier words slide, is now we are going to do an exercise where you are going to be identifying articles and quantifiers and the nouns, and in some cases the verbs as well. So what I would like you to do is either find the article that you did your homework on, or find a new article. Take out that article and start doing some investigating. So, what I'd like you to do is on a separate piece of paper, or if you're on your computer, on a Word document or Google document, please start making a list. I'm actually going to ask you to post this list on Canvas, so it might be easier for you to do this in your, sorry, I just realized I wasn't sharing my slides. So what we're going to do is we are going to probably have to, type this up anyway, so it's just up to you. So this is a slide that I have. So you're going to take out the article that you're going to choose. So if you need to pause this, that's fine. Go find the article you used for homework for today. Or if you don't want to use that one, use a different one. Go through and find the articles and quantifiers and nouns. So the article that I chose, because I'm kind of sick of this crazy news, is I chose this article called Seven Happy News Stories of the Week. Okay, and so this is from this past weekend. So I learned about koalas. I learned about people donating millions of dollars, Chanel, fashion, dancing and yoga. So from this, I found these quantifiers and articles and nouns. So it said millions of viewers. Shoot, sorry about that. There we go. Millions of viewers, so millions is the quantifier there. 26 koalas have the devastating bushfires, the bushfire season. 12 koalas, the trees, the recent rains. Plenty of is a quantifier. Growth, the time, every item, excuse me, the full wages, and fewer fashion shows. So this was my list. So what I would like you to do is find your article, make a little list, and then we are going to post it on Canvas. So you're going to post it under the day 2 article and quantifier noun activity. You just have to, pick however many, maybe 10, just post them so that we can all see how different quantifiers are used with different nouns. If you're unsure, you could put a question mark next to one, and that way we know that you kind of are questioning that. Okay, so what I'd like you to do is spend about 10 minutes doing this, and then when you're done with the identification, post it on Canvas. Okay, so pause your video and do your activity. Okay, so hopefully you are back from your quantifier article noun identification activity, and definitely check back in with our discussions on Canvas and see what other people are posting so we can become more and more familiarized with the patterns that we are seeing. So cool. All right, so your homework your homework is going to be completing these exercises in these packets. The packets are on Canvas under Module 4. All of the answers are at the end of them. So if you have any specific questions about your homework, please send me an email, okay? That way I can get back to you individually. But yep, just do exercises 4, 5, 9, 10, and 1 through 4. Some of these are going to be really short, and others might take some time. So yep, just get going with that, and then I will see you guys next week. Have a wonderful weekend, and email me if you have any questions or any concerns. All right. Thank you guys. See you soon.